Welcome back. We're here to preview Saturday evening's big Premier League clash between Chelsea and Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. Pascal, both of these sides still be reeling from their FA Cup shocks past weekend.
Yeah, it was an amazing couple of results, wasn't it? One of the best FA Cup weekends I can remember in my lifetime, definitely. It was amazing two results. Obviously, both teams at home as well. Chelsea at home in the league this season, they've won all 10 games. So for Bradford to come from 2 goals down there was just astonishing. It's not like Chelsea put out a weak side, Bradford, they are a League One club, obviously. They've had an amazing couple of years. Obviously, beat Arsenal and Aston Villa on their way to the League Cup final when they lost to Swansea a couple of years back. But to go to Stamford Bridge like that, 2-0 down as well, just an amazing goal. To come back and win 4-2, fair play to them. It was brilliant. But obviously, Mourinho afterwards, it was a bit of the problem with the handshake, wasn't it? He sort of shook Phil Parkinson's hand before the final whistle was even up. But then afterwards, he went into the Bradford dressing room, congratulated all the players. That was a good gesture from him. But moving on to the City result, they obviously hosted Borough, who are flying high at the top of the Championship. I think they're only 1 point off the top in the Championship. And 2-0 from Borough there. City not scoring at home against the Championship side. That's really disappointing for them. And both results really astonishing. And obviously, I think both teams would have really fancied winning the FA Cup this season, and both out now. Just amazing, really. Yeah.
Crazy results, but Chelsea have been in action since then. They've got themselves a Wembley final, obviously overcoming Liverpool in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final, which at Stamford Bridge, and it's the first leg at Anfield. They probably should have lost that game, shouldn't they? I think Chelsea only had 1 shot on target. That was the goal they scored, a Hazard penalty. But apart from that, Liverpool were very good. Stamford Bridge, there was not too much in the game. Both goalkeepers had some good saves, didn't they? Obviously, Ivanovic in extra time proved decisive with the goal, and I think that was important to bounce back because Chelsea, obviously in the Champions League, they'll fancy a chance in the Champions League. But me personally, I don't think they've got a chance. I think the Spanish teams and Bayern Munich could be too strong. So if they're going to win the League Cup, to get sort of a trophy in the bag, the Premier League, obviously they face a fight with City as well. So to get that to that final will give them confidence ahead of this game.
Obviously, it's a massive week for Chelsea, isn't it? Because they had that, obviously, to go out of the FA Cup like that, they knew they had to respond against Liverpool, and they managed to sort of scrape through in the end. I think Liverpool, they had their chance there, but I think on the night, probably Chelsea did just shade it. But obviously, it's come at a bit of a cost. They put out a pretty much full-strength team in that game. Obviously, Diego Costa, maybe a bit lucky not to get sent off on a couple of occasions, those stamps that he did. He made him look kind of innocuous, but I think he knew what he was doing on Skirl. The battle between them two is so interesting every time they play. But I think Fabregas, he sort of said to Mourinho, I'm not injured yet, but unless you take me off, I will be injured. I think he came off in the second half, so he could be a doubt for this one. And then Ivanovic, obviously, he scored the crucial goal, but I think his boot, I think Mourinho said afterwards that his football boot was full of blood after the game, so he could have a foot problem. If they're both missing this game, that's probably two of their most key players missing for this game if they both have to sit out.
So Chelsea got some problems injury-wise, but I mean City last time out in the league against Arsenal lost 2-0 at home, which would be very disappointing. I mean, it was a performance we haven't really seen from Arsenal, was it? I mean, they went in, set up shop, and Aguero was up front, but he never really had enough service, did he? He was sort of too isolated for long spells. Milner played Navas. Never sure about Navas. He never really did it in Spain, apart from having some good games. But to lose at home to Arsenal, obviously that put them 5 points behind, and thinking if they lose this game and that becomes me personally, I can't do it about you. I can't see that changing. I mean, 8 points is a lot at this stage of the season, and they went to this game, and this possibly is the biggest game of the season in the Premier League because Chelsea were obviously so strong, and the City clawed the gap back, didn't they? They were a point behind them, and they both had some disappointing results. But for City is so important, especially losing to Arsenal last time out. Pellegrini, I'm not too sure about City at the moment, but they have to get a good result here.
Certainly do. We talked about Chelsea. They've won all 10 league games at home this season, but City, they do have the best away record in the league. They've won 7 out of their 11 games on the road, so it's a massive, massive game for them. Like you said, I think they probably would take a draw because 5 points does seem like a gap they could claw back, but at 8 points, if Chelsea go 8 clear, like you say, that's a massive gap. But if they are able to win, get a first win at Stamford Bridge in the league this season, and obviously it's only 2 points, and that would be, that's 1 win, isn't it? So massive game for them. I talked about Fabregas and Ivanovic maybe being out for Chelsea, but Nasri and Mangala look like they're going to be out for City, and they could have, it depends on the results in the African Cup of Nations, but they might have Yaya Toure, Wilfried Bony back for this game, and if they have Bony back for this one, what a game if he makes his debut in this. Is if he can come off, I don't think he'll start even if he does come back because of acclimatising after being in Africa, but if he can come off the bench and have an impact in this, it's such a huge game to make your debut in. So just so many good storylines in this game. I think it should be a great game.
It's only 1 win in 4 as well for City at the moment. So if that becomes 1 win in 5, sort of in the league, that's going to be disappointing. I think Company and Costa's going to be a big one, isn't it? Their clash at the back. So people talking about Company's form. For me, he's been a bit dodgy for some time now. I know a lot of people rate him. I know he's regarded as one of the best in the world. For me, he makes a lot of mistakes. He gets away with it because of his power and strength. But he does tend to make mistakes, and this should be an absolutely vital game in the title race. What's your prediction?
I know what you mean about Company. I was going to touch on that. I think he's been kind of given maybe a free pass. Because of this, he has 2 brilliant seasons, didn't he? When after first coming in, he looked so good, and obviously I think it was only about 7 million they paid for him, so a great fee for him. But I know what you mean. I think he does make too many mistakes, and Joe Hart as well. He makes a lot of mistakes. I think there's a certain fallibility at the back, but this one is it's such a tough game to call, isn't it? I think Chelsea, you would have backed them probably instantly, but losing to Bradford like they did last weekend, but I think I'm going to have to go for a draw here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'm actually going to completely agree. You can see sort of Chelsea, if you had to push it, I think you'd say Chelsea just, but I can see City, they'll line up and they'll line up defensively, 2 defensive midfielders, and I think they'll have just enough about them to get a point as well. So I'm actually going to bet 1-1 as well. So both going for score draws at Stamford Bridge. Thanks for joining us.